Hey there, John Barron here for J&P Cycles, bringing you this great opportunity to interview one of the industry's icons, Bert Baker. Bert jumped into the business about 1998 when he saw a need in the market for, a better drivetrain, an opportunity to improve a rider's lifestyle. And I don't know whether it was by happenstance or just the fact that you are a distinct individual, you have become a core element and an iconic figure as far as this industry, and you're driving that change in the demographic. Bert, how do you feel about what drove you to this business and why you stay in it?
For sure, the impetus in the beginning, go back to 1998, 96 is actually when I first started working on the 6-speed design. There was all this motor stuff coming out. There was S&S, of course. There was Merch at the time, TP, a bunch of guys doing a lot of cool stuff with motors, but nobody was paying attention to the drivetrain at the time, that being the primary drive and the transmission. And I thought, that's a really necessary part to get the power to the ground. Like a rear tire, you can't roll down the road without one. And I thought, I do transmissions for General Motors. That was my responsibility at the time. So that's the whole basis. I was a manual transmission potato.
You're a Motor City guy.
Oh, okay. True and true, man. All right. I'm from Michigan, and we love cars there. So I was in the manual transmission group at Oldsmobile, and with that experience, I started looking into the Harley thing, bought my first Harley in 1993, and I thought, man, there's some opportunity here. I got to do something. Now, myself, I view myself as the most unlikely person to step forward and do, this is my responsibility. I'm Mr. Drivetrain, but I did it, and so far I've fooled a lot of people.
Hey, you fooled them really well because your stuff really rocks, and I see a lot of the big motor builders here coming to talk to you.
Yes.
I mean, and it is about that. It is about putting the power to the ground. But the industry as a whole is really about, well, I guess from where we've come from and where we're going, and that's something that we're really interested in here is what is the buyer that was in the business in, let's say, 98, 99 when you really started, and how is that changing today?
Yeah, that one's pretty simple. We were drawn in by the magnetic attraction of all the big custom builders. In 1998, it was all about ground-up construction, custom builders, cool choppers, and Pro Street, whatever. And that was kind of our focus as a company, is those people. Our products quickly evolved, beyond just the custom builder application. Today, fast forward to today, it's all about the rider. It's those who put on miles. The custom ground-up construction thing is a fraction of what it was. It still exists, but it's a fraction of what it was in '98, and it'll be back, don't get me wrong, because this whole thing goes in cycles.
All cyclical.
It's all cyclical, but today it's all about the guy who's putting miles on his bike, and that being an older bike or a newer bike. Because understand, you go to a motorcycle junkyard and you see snowmobiles, crotch rockets, dirt bikes, you won't find a Harley. People take care of their Harleys. They love their Harleys. They might love their Harleys more than they love their children or their wife. And so they take care of those suckers, and we have upgrades for them to get them going down the road easier.
You realize that Harley has a motor structure that's a component structure. And you said, I can take that one component out and I can give you a lot of different options to improve it for the way that you want to ride. And that's important because 10 years ago and even 5 years ago, they were riding on tethers. They didn't want to go more than 25 or 50 miles from either their shop, their home, or their bar.
Correct.
But now that got to 50 miles and 100 miles and 500 miles, and now it's all about the ride, which is really cool for you because you're making that possible.
Absolutely. Take the guy with the 1994 FL. Okay, he maybe did the small circles around his home base. Well, take that guy with a 5-speed, put a 6-speed in it, and he's going to Alaska now on that very motorcycle. And once again, people take care of their Harleys, and they're constantly improving them and evolving them. And we're finding one of the biggest markets is those with bikes built from 1990 to 2006, that whole era. They were great bikes, they were durable bikes, and people are doing these incremental improvements, and that's a big part of our business right now.
You're filling that void.
Yes.
And you mentioned something here, you said evolving.
Yes.
which is evolution.
Evolution.
And as far as the evolution goes, we've noticed a real change in the rider demographic.
Yes.
So we're lowering that age group. Now, I don't know about you, I'm 52 years old, but
48.
Yeah, so we're right there. But then we got Roland Sands.
Yes.
And I know
Very
he
cool.
sports your stuff, and we got other things. But and somebody told me this morning, they said he's just wrong enough to be right. And then it's not his daddy's Harley anymore.
No.
But it's really interesting. What do we do as an industry to attract that younger buyer and make what we've done more attractive to them?
Attractive to them. That is the future. You talk about the guys who own bikes from 1990 to 2006. Most of them are baby boomers, and there's been all this written about baby boomers. Well, they're all going to die someday, so we need to focus on tomorrow. We're gonna die.
Perfect.
But we got to focus on our children and our children's children. How are they going to embrace this sport or get away from it? I think this sport has a lot to offer. It has good, clean riding is a lot of fun. Okay, and Roland Sands is definitely a step in the right direction with attracting the younger audience. I think the 4-speed retro stuff, believe it or not, really appeals to the younger rider because you can't find that in Japan. You can't find that anywhere out in the world. And I'm telling you, like in Europe, the nostalgic Americana going back to 1936 is huge. They love that on a global scale. And I see the younger riders attracted to the post-war bobber type of template. You know what I mean? Servicemen came back from World War II,
and they had that cafe look.
Yeah.
And how can you not look at that black and white photograph? I don't care how old you are and go, oh my God,
that's awesome. That's American. Sure. And so I see the future. Future riders are going to go back in time.
Yeah, I like that. There was a big study that was done about the baby boomers a few years back, and it said that the predominant amount of baby boomers that were riding or began to ride started on a Japanese motorcycle.
Yes, sure.
They're evolving to Harley Davidson, American.
I did.
The icon. I know you're a perfect example. Talk about the motocross background and never owning anything, and in fact, looking for a metric bike and actually stumbling across a Harley dealership and going, "Why do I pay $12,000 more?" And somebody throws you or $3,000 more. Somebody throws you the keys, and you go for a ride. You go,
I get it.
I get it.
I get it. That was a life-changing experience back in '92. I was looking to buy either a ZX11 Kawasaki because I had the motocross background or a Harley, and I thought, well, maybe I should just take a look at a Harley. All you have to do is hop on one and you'll get it. Yeah. It's something you can't Google, okay? You can't Google, "Our Harley's cool." It won't tell you. You need to experience it with the seat of your pants.
Yeah, I totally understand that because I was a metric snob until about 4 years ago, and when our relationship with J&P expanded, and John Parham said, "Hey, what are you going to do for Harley?" And and I'm a metric guy going, "Well, what do I need to do for Harley?" And he says, "Have you ever really ridden one?"
Yeah, right.
No, we'll take some of our bikes for a ride.
Keys, yeah.
I'm like, seriously, dude, I like the way this feels.
No,
there's just something
words
about
cannot describe.
I gotta agree. It's a feeling, and it's a connection. And and that's a good way for us to jump off here for a second. Cool. It's a connection to the industry, and that's what we're all looking for. And at J&P Cycles, we're bringing you that with interviews like this to really get the chance to know a Bert Baker. That's I love this guy. We're setting a new standard. We're rolling it out there. Guys like this are going to keep it moving forward, and guys like we've talked about, Roland Sands and Arlen Ness, the history, and Corey and his son Zach. You know what? We're going to bring you those interviews. We're going to let you know what it is about this industry that is going to keep it here for the next 100 years.